All right, welcome back to the Elias Makos Show in the third hour of the program. First things first, just a little housekeeping. Got a message from a listener, and they were just asking earlier in the week. I talked about what I did over the weekend. I went to the Eastern Townships. I went to Sutton, near Cowansville in the Sutton area. Went to a wonderful farm that is owned and run by Nick Hodges. He's the guy that runs Ice House, the restaurant in the city, and he now owns a farm. And on the weekends, the barn of the farm turns into a basically really, really super duper nice taco stand. And I got a note from a listener saying, hey, I missed what the place was called. And it really is a lovely day trip. It's a 90-minute drive from Montreal. So it's a lovely thing to do. Go there on the weekends when they turn into the taco restaurant operation. And 90 minutes away, you show up there, you have a great taco in a beautiful farm setting, and then you drive back. It's just a wonderful day trip. So it's Sugary Farm, if you're looking for that. Sugar, EE at the end. So Sugary Farm, owned by Nick Hodges. Great stuff, and it'd be a recommendation, by the way, if you're looking for something to do on one of these weekends. Okay, let's move things along here on the Elias Makos Show. Now, David and Goliath story. Two Quebec brothers are taking on Marvel and Disney in a copyright legal battle that's capturing everyone's attention. Montreal comic book artists Raymond and Ben Lai are challenging the entertainment giants over issues related to illustrations. It raises questions about intellectual property and creative rights. Quebec courts will determine whether the companies used abusive tactics to financially exhaust the Lai brothers, who claim their superhero concepts were stolen. With more on this, let's go to Julie Desrosiers, who is a lawyer for the Lai brothers, and Raymond Lai joins us as well on the program today. Julie, Raymond, both of you, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, listen, I'll leave this to either of you to answer, because I know there's legal issues here. There are things that you perhaps cannot say at this moment, or legal issues there. So first things first, I do want to start off, and maybe Ben, you're the right person here, but feel free to pass it over to Julie. In a nutshell, for our listeners, what did Marvel and Disney do to you and your brother's work?
Basically, when they did the Marvel movies, the cinematic universe, they had to redesign all the characters so that none of their characters look like their comic book versions. And but when they actually came up with the movies, they all look just like our characters in our comic book. So that's the basis of our dispute, is that they're copying our look as opposed to using what they had in their comic books.
So when did your jaw drop? Like, when did you look at this? What was the moment where you said, "My goodness, they stole our stuff"? Take me back to that moment. What went through your mind?
The first time we really paid attention, because we already worked for Marvel, so we were not paying too much attention in their movies, their early Marvel movies, because they were all over the place. It wasn't owned by Disney at that point. It was like Fox, Sony. So we weren't really paying much attention to it until Iron Man 3, which came out in 2013. The main poster for Iron Man 3, when they released it with the Robert Downey Jr., that's the one that's all over the news, is the moment we saw it, we say that's a copy. And that's when we started paying attention to what they've been doing in copying our work.
Julie, why don't we add your voice to this discussion? Maybe you could just talk about the legal things that are at play here. What does the law say about things like this, and talk about the court battle that is ahead of you?
Well, copyright is a question of protecting the right of artists who are creating works that are original, found to be original. So when there's a copy that reproduces a substantial part of the original work, this is when you can talk about copyright infringement. And this is what we are fighting for in this lawsuit in Canada, is that when we look at Iron Man armor in Infinity War, for example, there are many elements that are very important that are copied from the armor of one of the main character in the Radix comic book. So this is, in a nutshell, part of the lawsuit in Canada, which will be decided at trial in a couple of years from now. But the issue that was debated before the court last week dealt more with the conduct of Disney and Marvel in the course of this Canadian litigation.
Okay, so let's talk about that. This is what we're talking about here is the abusive tactics. And I'm just, I looked up the stock quote in the last little while. So you're taking on a company worth $160 billion with a B dollars. So let's talk about abusive tactics here. You're alleging that they're basically trying to exhaust the Lai brothers here, monetary, other stuff. What are you alleging when it comes to those abusive tactics?
Well, a couple of things. For example, we wanted to know who was behind that. Which of the Disney Marvel companies were involved in this distribution of movies in Canada, so could be found to have an impact in the copyright infringement, for example. So they started with a motion to have our whole case dismissed based on the fact that none of the defendants had anything to do about that. Their motion was dismissed, so we continue into asking for production of documents because we wanted to see what were all the agreements with these companies to see whether what they were saying, that none of them had any say in the distribution of the films in Canada, was true or not. So we had to go to court many times. We sent tons of letters. They filed tens of thousands of documents, but not the contracts that were relevant to these issues. And it's only after a court decision forcing them to file that, after them saying we have no contracts whatsoever, and they were kind of playing with the words, we have no written contracts allowing for distribution in Canada, that at the end of the day, finally we receive 4 or 5 contracts that really established some links between the companies. So this costed, of course, the Lai brothers money in legal fees in order to go to court many times to obtain this information that kind of contradicted what they were saying in the first place.
Yeah. So
that they had nothing to do with anything.
Raymond, I got to ask you, based on what we just heard from your lawyer, are you exhausted?
Monetary wise, or just
all of the above, right? Whether it's the finances or the mentally, that kind of thing.
Well, we've been at it since 2013, 2015, maybe. So I mean, all this started in 2013, really. So am I exhausted? I'm still not that old, so I think I can handle it. If I was in my 70s, then maybe I'll be like, okay, maybe I should retire. Yeah. But at this point, I'm still ready. I'm still looking forward to it.
Raymond, for you and Ben, your brother, has it affected, sometimes how companies view this kind of thing? Oh, you'll sue them. Well, we don't want to work. Has it affected your career at all, this prolonged battle?
Well, yes and no. Essentially, for my brother, he worked for toy companies and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's not directly related to this. So, and for me, I am doing other things for a while. I've been doing other things for a while. So that's not affecting me that much either. But ideally is that, as you know, everything comic book is so popular at this point, has been popular for the past 10 years or 15 years. Ideally, we'd like to see our work turned into a movie and other stuff, because, I mean, we created the comic book, but the ultimate goal, just like Marvel, is to turn things into, a movie or video games in order to reach the mass audience.
And of course, you see these companies selling subscriptions at $20, $30 a month, right? And making a lot of money off that type of work. Julie, just to wrap up, do you have a timeline? Like do you have a best case scenario for Raymond and Ben as to when there would be a resolution?
Well, we are in court again on September 19, and at that point, a judge will schedule the trial. So we will have a trial date.
Okay.
And hopefully, with a trial date, then we prepare for trial and we go to trial and there's a decision and at least we'll have a time and date and something set in our calendar where this will be decided. So
Well,
and it's coming up in very shortly.
We'll be following this trial, this case. I want to thank you both for coming on the program this morning. Really do appreciate you sharing the story with our listeners.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
The voices you heard there, Raymond Lai, along with his brother Ben Lai, is a part of this lawsuit, and their lawyer there, Julie Desrosiers.